A very good evening to each one of you. Um, Thanks for joining this session. Uh, we have, okay, let me see. Okay. So thank you also for giving the consent about recording this session, which will be uploaded in YouTube. Uh, I am your host today for this evening. People from our community know me, but for others who have joined for the and here for the first time in this community, I am Rajkumar Sahu. I am an ICF certified coach. I focus on life and leadership coaching. I am the founder of the Gardeners Hub, and at Gardeners Hub, we enable personal and professional growth for both coaches and our clients while creating a hub of gardeners. Now, the Gardeners Hub is a nurturing ground for coaches. And what does this mean? It's a knowledge hub for the coaches. We meet on a monthly basis to learn, share from each other's experience, 1 hour every month as a community. We also run initiatives, coaching initiatives to provide coaching experience to the coaches here associated with us. And we also help build brand and visibility to the coaches through a coach elevate um, service. And to our clients, we empower our clients to select coaches from the diversified pool of associated gardeners, and our coach provide effective coaching engagement through structured approach. And we also have a flexible price for our coaches. And the primary reason being our coaches have varied experiences. So from beginners to ICF certified coaches. So that's why we are able to do that. So today, our speaker, Subash, Subash CVG, he is a CXO and executive coach. He brings in 30 years of leadership experience. He's an ICF master certified coach. He has delivered 5,000 plus of coaching hours and mentored 500 plus coaches. A seasoned leadership facilitator and founder of Regal Unlimited. Beyond coaching, he is a dog parent, certified healer, and a lifelong learner. Currently, he is exploring Carnatic music and Hatha Yoga. So we have requested Subash to come and share his experience on the topic building a coaching practice from passion to purpose to prosperity. Thank you, Subash, for accepting our request and coming here, spending your time. I know you have been a busy schedule all through last week, even today also you are traveling, but from there you have pulled out this 1 hour for us and trying to share your experience. And I'm sure each one of us here will have some good insights, takeaways from this session. And what I understand, you are open to take up coaches in between. So which means if any one of you have a question, please raise your digital hand and I will help moderate the Q&A. So Subhash, over to you. And if you want to add on to any of your introduction, please feel free and take the floor. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Raj, and thanks to everyone who has joined. I know just on the eve of Diwali. Yeah, I'm in Mumbai. I'm here. I had a session, coaching session, afternoon lunch and all that. So great to connect with fellow coaches. And except for a couple of them, Sandeep, Ramesh, I don't know most of them. So it's such a fascinating thing that there are so many coaches still, we don't know, right? Yeah. So good to connect. Thank you for joining. Now, I spent 2 decades in banking. That is my corporate experience. This is my 13th year as a coach and 10 plus years as a mentor for coaches. Yeah, and actually that 500 coaches, each one of them I have personally mentored. It's a real number. We are closer to 550. We have crossed 550. We are counting 600 now. Yeah. And only thing like what Raj is doing with you all, we are also trying to nurture a community. So when he invited me, no second thought, I said happy to connect with any of these places, any of these groups. So jumping in the interest of time, uh, the first question, by the way, I have made some notes. I'm going to look at them. Though post banking, I'm very happy. I don't have pressure to prepare PowerPoints and project them. So I'm very comfortable actually, very happy. Uh, but I have, I've done my work and I'm prepared. Because as Robin Sharma says, if you're not over prepared, you're under prepared. So I've come prepared with my thoughts so that there's a structure. Uh, but picking on the question that Raj asked as a poll, what does coaching practice mean to you, right? Raj, that was the exact line. Yeah. So two questions I want to leave you to reflect. Um, One is, why we call it a coaching practice, not a coaching business. I'm okay with both. Right? I use it very synonymously, but I want you to make a note and reflect: is there a resistance to call coaching as a business? Because I find that quite common. I think it's also a bit cultural, and coaching is also seen as a service. So how do I earn, how do I collect money, and things like that, right? There's a resistance to collect money for the services we provide. So why is it not coaching practice? Second, those of you joined late, I was second question to reflect is how much of it is for yourself as a coach, right? See, when it comes to coaching as a practice or a coaching, not just a business, the whole definition of coaching, there is an element of client, there is a coach, that is we, and there is a process or something beyond both the client and the coach. So I always look at it as a golden triangle. There is coach and the coachee at the bottom, then there is something at a higher level. I also link it to the higher consciousness, which we tap into as competency number two, which talks about intuition, which talks about rituals before and after to tap into the intuition. Uh, Here I am talking about that. I'm keeping that aside for now. We'll come back to that later if you have any questions. But when it comes to why we do the coaching business, my invitation to you is it has to be something that why every entrepreneur wants to become an entrepreneur. Every business owner wants to become a business owner. For me, I always say this: it's nothing is a coincidence, right? Nothing is a coincidence for me, and that also comes from my brief experience in the healing space. So I just returned from from Saudi Arabia, Riyadh. I was there for almost 5 days. I'd gone for the ICF conference there. I was not invited. I just registered and went on my own cost because that was an added excuse for me to go and connect with my friends there. Because my last 5.5 years in the corporate I spent in Riyadh as head of car finance for the largest bank there. Yeah, I was the business head for the country. So I said, this is a good opportunity to go and connect. So many of them asked me, how is it going, getting out of the comfort of a job and becoming this, right? So what stayed with me, crystallized as thought is one, the freedom that it gives me. I'm speaking about myself. Bossless is bliss, right? Even handling senior management roles, you're still reporting to bosses. So for me, I personally find that not having a boss for myself is bliss. And I must acknowledge here also that my wife is the partner of Regal Unlimited. We are co-founders. She has been absolutely a fantastic business partner also, just as she is a life partner. Absolutely non-interfering, but at the same time asking questions, right? Uh, there is no roadblock, but there are some. She'll question me. Of course, then it is my mom. Every trip she asks me, is it marketing development or is it are you going to bill? So I said Riyadh was marketing development, Bombay is billing. So she's happy about that. So I'm saying these people also help me to reflect on why I do that. So one is the freedom. Freedom of flexibility of time. You're not answerable to anyone. Second is there is no boss controlling you, right? Control. Because I also come from a very strict parenting background as a child. So I've always allowed my bosses to control me in some level. I'm deliberately bringing this up. Why? Because these factors impact us the way we run business. What are those underlying beliefs and biases that hold us back? Yeah. So I know as a subordinate, I have been a fantastic subordinate for all my bosses, right? Even with the most toxic bosses, but that doesn't serve me, right? It serves them if they're toxic. Great bosses, it has been mutually beneficial. Yeah. So the point is, it has to translate. Going back to Raj's question, why we are doing this business, it has to be lifestyle. I was looking for that particular answer, frankly. You know, absolutely, I'm not saying you should not transform, you should not impact, you should not do charity, but you can only give what you have, no? You cannot give anything that you don't have. So that a successful business will make you more impactful as a coach, more confident as a coach, and also can do more charity as a coach. Yeah. So, uh, I mean, if at all, I want you to take away one of the bigger things from this is it has to translate into lifestyle. I come from a very humble background. Going to Riyadh last point on Riyadh, then we move on. One of my best friends there, he said, you work with CXOs. You called yourself a CXO coach. He said, how come you're not wearing a Rolex? So I said, that's not even on my bucket list. That's not the kind of lifestyle I want to do. But he was talking about branding, fellow banker, right? So for me, that is also part of lifestyle. What is your equivalent of, Rolex that is relevant to your target audience? He said your target audience would resonate more if you maintain a particular lifestyle. Yeah, very important. So it has to translate into lifestyle. So the next time this question asks, I would invite you to strongly consider that it is about my lifestyle, the freedom, the earning, and then from there also the charity and what you want to do. Yeah. Anytime you have an alternate point of view, please raise the hand, digital hand, and come in. Yes, go ahead, Ramesh. Good to see you.
Yeah. Thank you. Subash, just couldn't understand your last point that your lifestyle has to resonate with the client. Can you please elaborate on
So
that?
what my friend was saying is,
Hmm.
you're working with CXOs. Now he would have been slightly biased that he's talking about the CXOs in the Arab world, right? The rich Arab world. We are in Riyadh. So he's saying that I have the basic model of Apple Watch, which even my son gifted. I didn't want to buy it. So he's saying this ye nahi chalega. You have to maintain, and that's also partly the Arab culture. Your perfume, your shirt brand. No, it's a very brand conscious market. So you need to at least demonstrate that matching lifestyle, so that they feel better connected.
Okay.
And incidentally, his wife is one of my mentees. She has gone through the ACC program, not completed, but she has gone through. So he has a better understanding of coaching also. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, AKS. How to you?
Hi, my name is Ajit. I'm sorry, I was muted. That what you said right now is completely resonate. Like I believe in the same thing, but I want to hear your point of view of on this Rolex thing. I, I think like your personal choice, and just the client they don't look at what you're wearing and what you're delivering, what are the value added you are giving to them. That's what I believe in. I need a little bit more your insight on it. How do you like explain that? Okay, I'm not wearing Rolex or I'm not matching. How you answer those with?
So yeah, good question. Thank you for that. I should be comfortable wearing my Rolex. That is my first answer. So I would get on. I mean, I don't know if I would still buy a Rolex or not. But the thing is, ultimately, I should be comfortable in my skin. Number two, I have one of my best common friends, Raj is here, one of our common friends, one of the most successful coaches in India, truly successful at every level. Uh, he's an executive coach. I see him only primarily in the formal jacket and or a suit at least, right? So I don't see him in smart kurta, which you would see me more often. But I see him. For me, that is the equivalent of the Rolex. It's not necessarily physically the real Rolex watch, but are you turning up in a way that you're consistent in your branding so that your client segment resonate with you at an energy level? Yeah, that's it. I mean, I may or may not buy a Rolex, but that's not the point. It's about connecting with the client. Something that I use in my coach mentoring. It's about in a game of golf, you meet the client where the client is. So if I am reaching out to my friend there, asking him to help me reach out to the local market. This guy is an Indian, by the way, but that is his point of view, which is very valid for me. I said thank you for the input.
Right. Thank you. Thank you for.
Yeah, we move on, or is there any other hand? No hand, right?
No, and you can move
Yeah,
on.
thank you. So one is the first point I had in my note is building a coaching practice. Why is it not business, coaching business? By the way, I must confess that the lifestyle part also is covered in one of the most popular book on coaching business, The Prosperous Coach by Rich Litvin. Why we coach, right? He talks about lifestyle there also. Second point that I want to bring up is passion, purpose, and prosperity. Now, again, reflecting on that, for me, the starting point is your purpose. So the question is, why I am into coaching? And it is not just enough that I start this at the beginning of my coaching journey to get my ACC and then I forget it. People drift away. I know our own mentee coaches, when we have subsequent mentoring for ACC renewal, PCC renewal, or general conversation, we find that, we tend to drift away. I think that's why ICF has the CCUs for renewal. So we need to remind ourselves every day, perhaps, why I am into coaching. Yeah. And then convert that into passion. So the starting point should be the purpose, the why of it. As Viktor Frankl says in his famous book, quoting the German philosopher, if you have a why, you will figure out a how. That how is the passion. And that passion, we'll revisit that in a moment, is your action. For me, this conversation is not a masterclass in marketing. This conversation is what are things that I am going to do from 8 p.m. onwards today. I mean, those of us who are in India, less than 1 hour, right? 35 minutes from now. What we are going to do from 8 p.m. That action is the passion in action. Otherwise, it's CC7 awareness. It's all here. It will fizzle out unless we anchor that and convert into action. That's why ICF has got CC7, then 8. Right? So it's important that we convert that into action. So passion in action. No, not here at all. I would even go that far. Yeah, then it is prosperity. This will lead to prosperity, which is what the lifestyle I said. So purpose, passion, and prosperity. I wouldn't stop here. If I have to add one more thing, I have this obsession with #beyond, right? So I always reflect on what is beyond that. For me, it is mindset. Yeah, it is mindset about coaching, which is competency number 2. ICF is still figuring out, right? This after 5 years, they have given PCC markers for CC2 now, when they rolled out the new edition. So then it is about the mindset. Now, why, for a business point of view, passion for action and mindset is what matters a lot. When I say mindset, how can I charge so much? I'm touching lives, I'm transforming lives. It's a noble cause. Somebody cannot afford me. Should I still do? Right? This is no. We are not Messiah. We are, after all, professional coaches, right? That we'll give it to Rama, Krishna, Buddha, and Jesus, right? Transforming the world. We are here for a profession. So to that extent, that mindset is something that will define your success or failure. Because if you don't convert these three into mindset shifts, then there is a low probability of success. Yes, Sandeep.
Yeah, since we just mentioned about core competency number 2, embodying the coach mindset. In the recent revision, it has got the maximum attention, and even the entire definition has been rehashed. While initially it was not being assessed for the recording, while it
Correct.
impacts all the other competencies. And when we are talking in terms of developing that passion and professionalism and not getting drifted away, this is, I feel, the most important aspect of developing that passion, and also reflects on the consciousness level or the self-awareness level of the coach, which I think we increasingly forget it when we get in the structure of getting our recordings approved and then follow. Because most of the learning, I remember you having said that most of the learning for the core competency 2 is happening not during the session, but off the session,
Very true.
which is very important to internalize. I thought, let me bring that point.
No, thank you very much. I can't agree more. For me, if we start embodying coaching mindset, then you don't need any other competency. I will go one step further, because then you are embodying it. No, then where is the effort? It's not, you're moving from a doing to being. And naturally, your CC3 will happen, exploration will happen, action will happen, and awareness will happen right throughout, which is what we typically target in MCC. So awareness is integrated at every level. Powerful questioning, listening, deep listening, trust. There is no need to build trust, because we are connecting at a consciousness level. So beautifully said by Sandeep. So that's why I place, right on top of the triangle of mindset. And I fully agree with Sandeep. We have, I think culturally we are chasing certificates, right? I mean, I started my career as an entry level clerk briefly in State Bank. I say everybody is going after CA, IIB that time. This during my BCom days. Right, CA, IIB, everybody is chasing certificate, because what happens? You get one increment, and then there is a slightly higher probability of the next promotion. So for one promotion and one increment, people were left and right doing CA, IIB. We have also reduced our credential. We're digressing, but you can't succeed as a coach with that mindset. That's why I'm building on what Sandeep said. Yeah. So it just like the purpose that I mentioned, even the mindset also should be something that we should be tracking on a daily basis. And it's mind, right? It's a Johari window. It's about it's hidden. The world may not know, but we are not building the muscle to become a great coach. We all are good coaches. If you have to become a great coach, the mindset is the critical thing. Now, building a coaching practice, and there was a footnote or a second line to that: build a sustainable coaching business. Right. So yeah, I agree that the word business did come in that next line. How do you do that? I mean, that is the objective of this call, right? If it is not sustainable, then it's not a business, right? If initial days there can be some fluctuation, but the process that we set up for the coaching practice should be such that it is sustainable. Especially if you have bills to pay, salaries to pay, then absolutely no excuse for not making it sustainable, right? And that is the objective. The how of it will jump in very quickly. Now, as I said briefly earlier, you can only sell a good product, right? In today's era, where all information is available, right? There is no way you can fool people in the long term. Ultimately, ICF research says that 80% of the business is repeat business. That's phenomenal, right? 80%. So you do your first customer, you mess up, then you may get a next customer, but that cannot create a sustainable business. Every engagement in the initial days will help us build that sustainable business. So it is given for this conversation, it is given that you are a good coach, you're good in coaching competencies, you're doing all that is necessary to embody the coaching mindset. You're also practicing that outside the coaching mindset, right? We are not even going there today because that's not part of the agenda. So on the assumption that I am a good coach, I demonstrate the competency framework, and I am also sharpening the saw on a regular basis, not just attending CCU webinars, but you actually do something to strengthen that. Raj spoke about me being a pet parent, learning Carnatic music, and also learning Hatha Yoga. For me, all these three are what I'm doing to strengthen my coaching mindset. I'm a bad singer. In this birth, I'm sure I'll not give a music performance. I'm that bad. But this is the fourth year I'm learning Carnatic music. And I have a patient teacher who's willing to, endure my cacophony, right? So the point is, but it does something about the voice. I've said this in some other forum. As coaches, are we even doing voice training? Right? Voice training also important to our kind of work. We are going to speak less than 20%. That 20% has to be delivered well, right? So to that extent, even something like voice training is important. So I'm saying, what are you doing outside the session to embody the coaching mindset is what will make your coaching a good coach. And a good coach only can create a sustainable business. A bad coach, the market will figure out. You can't fool them. Yeah. If no questions, then I'll now jump into some specifics that I thought of as part of the agenda. Any question at this stage? Yes, Rahul.
Yeah.
Yes, so I thank you so much for sharing that, Subash. I am in the space of my coaching journey where, when you spoke about sustainability, I am not yet there. I'm not yet sorted, I would say. Yes, I have my ACC credential. And what I saw that once I got the ACC credential in January this year, sometime in the month of 3rd or 4th week of March, there was a person who reached out to me on LinkedIn from a consulting firm. And then we exchanged numbers and email IDs. We spoke. And then they said that there's an upcoming project. Will you be able to take it up and stuff? So I said, yes, sure. And it's a paid project. So I was very happy that, after 4 years of waiting, doing a lot of pro bono, watching a lot of videos, reading books, and attending all these sessions or such events and all that. So, in the sense, I have I don't know how the pattern is, how the trend is, but it seems to be more of B2B. Again, another consultant who reached out said that we want to partner with you, we want to empanel you. 2, 3 consultants did that. But when it comes to B2C, is where I'm finding it very hard. It's not about me as a brand or me as a coach. I tell them what coaching is very simply, in simple terms. But when it comes to say the amount, so I say that for my energy exchange, value, and time and effort, I charge an X amount. So the very next response is, okay, thank you, I'll get back to you. But that never happens. So just wanted to understand that what's this any kind of what can we follow, or what is the process to have these continuity 1:1 coaching plus those who are just coming from other institutions like consulting firms?
So, a couple of points. Okay, thank you for coming in. Number one, see, I am somebody who's against pro bono at the early stage of a coaching career. I mean, those of you who is pursuing ACC PCC at the early stage of your coaching business or coaching career, no, we are not ready for charity. Yeah, pro bono is charity for me. You do charity when you are very good at it, right? Not, I think it's a very unfair practice to do pro bono work at the early stage of a career. So we don't encourage our learner coaches at all, right? We say 100% paid. It can be even reciprocal peer coaching, but no external charity. What happens is that adds fuel to the fire of that mindset where you're reluctant to charge. Okay, so if you're struggling to charge the appropriate price for your services, it also comes from your early exposure to pro bono, right? Your pro bono, your early stage of your career outside the reciprocal coaching, you should be targeting your target segment. Yeah, so I have some specific points on pricing. We'll come back to that. So one is, I just want to highlight that avoid pro bono. When it comes to B2B, B2C, again, we'll come back because I have a flow, including for pricing. Yeah, just hang on. If I don't answer it, I'll come back to you specifically, Rahul. Yeah,
Sure.
so I have some 5-6 points that I have noted. I want to leave the group with a framework. Then we'll spend more time on questions, and I'm okay to wait even after 8 for a few more minutes. So the first one. There is, if some of you, anyone is part of ICF Bangalore chapter, the members group, there has been a lot of discussion around the business and failure. So for me, avoiding that negativity, that noise is also part of the mindset, right? Because it's almost saying that you have to be a sales guy or a business guy in your previous avatar in the corporate or other roles to succeed in coaching. There might be some merit in it. But the point is, sales and business skills are no rocket science, right? This is something that we can easily learn and practice, especially if you have some peer support, including a peer coaches or a community like this. So be very protective about your mindset, yeah, and nurturing that mindset. That is still my first point. Related to that is also, when you are practicing, having this conversation, observing others coach, it will trigger some points for you, some values and needs for you. Make a note of it and reflect on it. So, for example, some of our deep held belief, which we would have brushed under the carpet, will come and stand before us in some unexpected moments. We should be able to catch it and then make a note and then reflect on it. Some subtle beliefs around money and other stuff. Now, for me, our age group, if you are in your 40s and 50s, then most of us would have struggled in our early stage of our life. So we are carrying that baggage into our adulthood, right? Our kids wouldn't have faced that. Most of our kids would have been born with a silver spoon, if not golden spoon. So they won't carry that belief around the money, but we do carry very strong belief, right? It's very deep rooted. So mindset is still the first point that I would highlight. The second point of the mindset is, I've seen people talking ill of ICF. No, that was a very unfair. If you are an aspiring ICF coach, ACC, PCC, you can't be talking ill of the institution that you're part of, right? I'm not saying if there is some mistake, don't stand up. No, you should stand up. That's what ICF Code of Ethics demand. But you can't be generally talking ill of the institution that you represent. And I know coaches who do that, and you never become a prosperous coach, because you're constantly hitting on your own legs, in Hindi, apne pair pe kulati. So it's a very subtle thing that I find that. And I think we generally gossip around a lot of things. no. So keep ICF out of that. Yeah, that is number two. Whenever there is a trigger, I'm just giving you a healing approach to this point. The last point on mindset. Where is that coming from? Is it coming from an abundance mindset or a scarcity mindset? If you will know whether it is coming from a scarcity mindset or abundance mindset. You just have to be aware to flip anything that is coming from a scarcity mindset to abundance mindset. Because you cannot operate a client relationship from a scarcity mindset. It is unfair to the client. It's unfair to you. It's unfair to the coaching as a profession, right? Coaching as a business for you. So if you are still pulled down by the scarcity mindset, no, I think you're not vibrating at a frequency to attract abundance into your lifetime. Hang on to that. This is not a point that I can dwell deep into, but I come across people. We call it that penny wise, pound foolish kind of a thing, right? Rahul, this is also important when it comes to pricing, right? Only from an abundance mindset, you'll be able to charge premium to your client. And if the client cannot afford it, be very compassionate to let go. The client is not ready for you. Yeah, it's all linked to mindset. Yeah, that's why I'm kind of obsessed with the mindset. Now, building a coaching practice, very tactical, right? I mean, I don't want to give general gyana about mindset, but not cover this, right? Specific tactics, something that you can go and start working on. First is what is your macro niche and then your micro niche. You can't be a life coach. Then you are not a coach. Because, somebody who has no exposure to coaching is also calling life coach. The last count, I said there are 4 million coaches on LinkedIn. 4 million. ICF members are some 1 lakh plus. So your macro niche has to be a lot more specific. Then within that, what is the micro niche? Very random example. One of my favorite. One of my ACC mentees, she said, I am a coach. I'm an executive coach or a career coach. I don't remember. I'm a career coach for women leaders in the IT sector who has hit a glass ceiling. Now, she comes from the IT industry. She's somebody who hit the glass ceiling and she left the industry to become a trainer. She was a trainer for some time, then got introduced to coaching and she became an ACC, now a PCC. Right? For me, it is about that sharp micro and macro niche that is foundation to success as a business. And that is what every business is supposed to do. Even a Flipkart cannot be delivering grocery to every home, right? With all the muscle of Tata. Yeah. Blinkit or Swiggy also cannot deliver all food items. They are all operating at a niche. Cred is also looking at a very, very specific target segment. And HSBC is looking at one segment, which is suddenly exploded because Citibank sold their retail portfolio to Axis Bank. The premium banking. That so much so that ICICI Bank wanted to increase the minimum balance and they increased it. I think 10 to 50,000 they made it. Then there was a lot of pressure. They brought it down to 15,000. So, you have to be very clear about your micro and macro niche. 2 questions that will help you to very clearly articulate that, like the example I gave. One is, who is your target customer? Who is your ideal customer? So when I say I am a CXO coach, I know very clearly that it's that small slab of CXO coaches, senior leaders. I am not interested in the middle level leaders. I want to go and serve them. I am not interested in the team leads and early stage, all the Gen Zs entering the workforce. Now, there are a lot of people who want to go to the campus, support Gen, all those people who are doing their MBAs and masters and engineering, so that they can be more career ready. And I'm not in that space by choice. Yeah, I've specifically said I am a CXO coach. I have not defined industry. Yeah, but I also call myself an executive leadership coach. I am an executive coach sharpening the leadership skill. And that's what I do. Anything other than that, I am very comfortable to say no. I've still coached my son's friends. I've coached my wife's friends, family friends, right? My classmates. So many of them, most of them paid, some of them not paid, right? Pro bono. I mean, all much later in my career. But I have to be very clear what is my go-to-market strategy. Going back to Rahul's questions, one of my classmates, asked me, what is your go-to-market strategy? So I said, I'm chasing B2B, but only 60% of my coaching clients are corporate paid clients. 40% are self-sponsored clients. On an ongoing basis. Sometimes it is 30%, sometimes it's 60%, and it fluctuates. But I still get self-sponsored clients who pay through their nose to avail my services. And actually, they are better than the company-sponsored coaches consistently because they're paying from their pocket, right? They're far more committed. So, Rahul, answering your point, uh, I put all my effort from the initial days going after the corporates. But I'm still attracting, very thankfully and comfortably attracting some B2C clients. So it's important that you have to define within your micro and macro niche, do you want to focus on B2B or B2C? B2C, you'll get a lot more scattered clients, quick wins, but B2B corporates are stickier. You engage with one corporate, there's a high probability of repeat business. You develop relationship. The time taken to crack relationship might be longer, but it works in the long run. And they pay better also, right? They also pay better. Now, I'll also share disclosure that in my banking roles, though I have been a retail banker, I have handled some corporate accounts. I know it takes time to nurture and create an engagement from a corporate. But that is something, that is the patience that I need to demonstrate. And the more I am patient, I've seen competition stop following up and other stuff. There is one particular company in Bangalore, three of their senior leaders wanted to get ACC. Right? That is very rare. Company sponsored ACC leads coming from a very good organization. A foreign company, but a small organization. 3-4 of us, they got in touch with corporates. Yeah, I signed up. Okay, thankfully we got that business. So I asked the HR once she came on board. The HR head was one of the three. I said, "What prompted you to choose us?" She said, "Only you followed up." Right? So I don't agree that others do not follow up. Somehow I followed up better, and I was in. It was three. It was a corporate. It came through a referral. So naturally, I was personally involved. I mean, one conversation I had like this when I was in Delhi for the ICF Raga program. That evening, I took this call. So somewhere that B2B works. Yeah. So if you're an executive coach, if you're targeting corporate clientele, then it is a no-brainer that you should spend bulk of your bandwidth on nurturing, creating, following up B2B. Yeah. I'll finish, then we'll take some more questions on that or anything else.
Yeah, we have 9 more minutes, Subash. We'll
Yeah.
try to close and continue our discussion beyond that.
Yes. Now, the four piece of marketing, that's another point I wanted to touch upon, right? When we mentor coaches, we make them draw a 3-year plan. This is something that I've heard, some of the business owners from my previous experience, that you give yourself 1,000 days, which is around 3 years. You have a plan for 3 years and stick to it, right? Then there is a higher probability of success. Now, I also heard the data that most of the businesses hold up in the first 1 or 2 years. So if you cross the threshold of 2 years, I'm giving even one more 3 years, and keep improving, doing stuff. There is a high probability of doing. So if you are starting a coaching practice, coaching business, have a plan for next 3 years. Yeah, the 4 P's. The first one is the product. The coaching service that you're offering is the product, you have to choose whether are you going to offer just coaching or one more. Again, ICF research says an average coach has two activities, 2.2. That is a number that I've heard. 2.2 activities. This is a big decision for you to make. Do I just call myself one area as a coach? Like I'm just a coach, CXO coach / executive coach, or I am also a mentor, right? A lot of people think that I am only an ICF mentor, I don't coach. No, but I earn my bread, butter, and jam from coaching. ICF mentoring is more, is a passion that some of us are doing it together. So that is one thing that you need to do. I would always recommend start with one product for the first year. Maybe second year you can start, or even third year. But initially, build that one thing. There is this popular book, One Thing. Just focus on that one thing. And if you feel that one thing is enough, just stay on. There is no need for the second thing. If I were to go back and do this all over again, I doubt whether I would have taken up ICF coaching. ICF training. I would have been having a better lifestyle by just being a coach. ICF training keeps me busy. It's labor intensive, less remunerative. But the 500 coaches, that is the satisfaction. So that is number one. That is a product. Have a very specific product plan for the next 3 years. Second, the place. As they say in Hindi, apne gali mein you have to be strong. You have to be strong in your city. Again, something that I am not. A lot of people still think that I am based out of Chennai because I launched ICF course training in Chennai. Right? So, the excessive promotion of ICF programs made people believe that I used to live in Chennai or I am based out of Chennai, even today. Yeah. So you should have a plan first for the local. Another very valuable tip, when people search for your niche, CXO coach or wellness coach or something that is slightly sharpened, there is a high probability that Google will throw up the local. Right? So when you search online, there is something called Google My Business, right? I mean, those of you are familiar with that. I'm not an expert, but somebody else does it for me. So Google My Business is when you can manage that. You update that Google My Business profile on your Google search. It throws up more business. So there's a lot of importance of managing the locality of your business. You have to be strong in your area. Now, I can't sit in Bangalore and think that I'll build my business in Dubai or Riyadh. No, that's not fair. That's not sustainable. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and have a plan to expand. For example, ICF course training, we launched in Chennai. We continued that for more than 1.5, 2 years. Then we started in Hyderabad, continued another 2, 3 years. Then we added Bangalore. Then we have added Bombay and Colombo later, right? Which all happened recently. So have a plan for your place, which all places you want to cover. If you're trying to cover multiple geographies, the Google will get confused. It doesn't help you, generating business. That is about place. Now, price, which Rahul brought up. You have to be very clear. There are 3 simple levels to simplify. That bottom level is not for ICF coaches. Bottom level is for those people who are uncredentialed coaches, self-style coaches who don't have ICF credentials. You should either start at the middle or go to the top. In terms of only pricing, I'm saying. So you should charge a premium even if you're targeting the middle section. And or you should, if you can manage the upper price, start with premium, then I think that's a better thing to do. See, you can't build a sustainable business as an ICF coach if you have to renew your ICF membership $270 every year, if you have to renew your credentials every 3 years, right? CCUs and other stuff. It's not cheap. So ICF is kind of a luxury item. You should be very comfortable with that mindset again. So it's very important that you price premium. So going back to Rahul's question, one of the biggest drawbacks I see about coaches in India is we are charging low. I know it is not easy. I worked with 3 companies in my 21 years. All 3 are big brands in their space. With all that experience, when I started my coaching, I was selling me as a brand, and I didn't have a confidence to sell myself. And I'm an introvert. I'm not a natural sales guy. I've just worked hard to make a success out of sales. But one of the things that somebody advised me at the initial stage of my coach training is don't underprice yourself. How universe conspires. Around that time, I read Richard Branson's autobiography. He said, if you don't value your time, who else will value? Yeah, that is second point. You have to value your time. And your pricing, Rahul or anyone else here is not just an ACC or just not an ACC learner. It's a collective experience of your lifetime. Because remember, I am an MCC. I may be competing with an ACC here. We both get a chemistry session. But only till that chemistry session, all these credentials matter. Once you have the chemistry session, it's their connection with us that get the business. So it's important that you price appropriately for the time. All the time you spend in building your coaching muscle, your coaching practice, your investment in coaching business, right? So it's very important that you price yourself appropriately. You don't play small. And last point on that, again answering specific to Rahul, is what Steve Jobs spoke famously about focus. Just extrapolating that it's your ability to say no when the client comes for a lower price, when they negotiate. See, let us be fair. We are used to asking for chili and coriander leaves when you buy vegetables. I have done that myself. Right? We demand, and it was a hakta, it was an entitlement. That's our culture. Our kids may not do that. So, that is those are my clients today. So everybody will negotiate. The companies also negotiate. That guy who's empaneling you will negotiate because that is his KRA. But if you stick to a price and start saying no, you're not saying no to them. You're saying to your subconscious. This is the most important part of pricing strategy. You decide what is the price that you want to charge and stick to it. Now, all this, if I'm talking about 3-month horizon, initial days, you will not be flooded with work. It takes time to build your practice. You're talking about a 3-year horizon, at least 2 years. You should be able to survive. Sustenance should not be dependent on a coaching practice. Please, if you're going to get into coaching practice with a planning for the next 2 years, especially if you're making the transition, then it's very unfair to you and your family. More to your family than you. It's still your passion, but it's their dal roti for the family. So you need to plan that. That's a different topic. But if you're talking about a 2-3 year horizon, you must make sure that you're taking care of that. The last point about promotion, then I'll pause. I'm mindful of the time. Just a couple of minutes and then I'll pause. Social media is overestimated, right? Don't waste time too much on social media. Number one, that's a very generic statement. You have to be present in that social media where your client is. Now, you will still see me little active on LinkedIn compared to other platforms because I'm targeting corporates. Yeah, but to convert that into business, it took time. But I've had just an example. Somebody reaches out to me from Italy, right? A company saying that we're looking for a coach in India for our CEO in India, for one of our clients, not their client, saying that it's a very large company. This guy is it's a Italian company. The CEO is a Spanish citizen who was parachuted into India because the outgoing CEO was fired, who was an Indian, and he has left behind a mess. So this guy who was parachuted had to fix this mess with a specific 3-year horizon. After 3 years, he said, I'll come back, success or failure. That was his deal. He didn't want to spend the entire time here. He wanted to get back to Spain. So I said, how did you find me? The guy who reached out to me. He said, I found you on LinkedIn. Then I said, okay, I'll send you my profile. He said, not necessary. Your LinkedIn profile is more than enough. So I'm saying I was available on the platform where my client would look for me. That is the social media I need to do. But still be very stingy about the time, effort you commit to social media. Number two, this is the most important part if you're having a plan to set up your coaching business. You must start with your website. Today, you can get your website done. If you're reasonably technical, Wix platform, you can do it yourself, plug and play, right? Wix platform. It's very cheap. Uh, if you don't want to spend that time, you think you are not technical enough, you get freelancers for 10, 15, 20,000. 15,000 and all, there is a freelancer who is doing it for our coaches. Somebody who was an intern for us, an engineer, after some couple of years of internship during his engineering, now he's freelancing for our coaches, right? If anyone wants it, I can share his contact with Sahu, and he can, no commission, right? I mean, I don't take any commission for it. It's a service. So I'm saying the website is like all roads lead to Rome. Again, this is the mistake I made. I created my website after 2 years of my business, which is very wrong decision. Yeah. So website is the second thing. The third one, very important, most important when it comes to the promo or the marketing of business, is your network. A lot of people say that, I come from this background. I am a homemaker. I have no network. I have handled this role. I have no network. I'm an introvert. I have no network. No, every one of us has enough network to give you that first exposure to coaching. Right? I've done my INSEAD leadership program. We had a professor who came in from US to Singapore campus. I think I remember he said, lean into your discomfort to tap into your network. It's a discomfort for me as an introvert, but yeah, I have to lean in. I just did that, right? And I got my initial clients from my network. Now, when I was doing my PCC, I did PCC directly. It was a lot easier those days, if you know. In my third month, after my first month, first weekend, I asked my mentor, can I go to the market? He said, no. And I was nowhere ready, he said, very bluntly. After second month, again I asked him, my mentor, can I start? He said no. Third month, shamelessly again went back and asked, can I start reaching out to my friends and others? He said, now you are ready, but be careful, right? Looking back, that is one of the best advice I got, right? Because what I did that evening, Sunday night, I wrote to some 50 odd of my friends. I just came back from Middle East. I wrote to some friends in the Middle East and in India and elsewhere, saying that I am on this journey. I am looking for some bakras. If you want to volunteer, I'll charge very low fee. But after I get my PCC, I'll charge a bomb. I'll charge premium above the market. So the threat, indirect threat. Some of them signed up. Couple of my engagements from them is one of my best engagements till date. Couple of them, actually, I'm meeting them for breakfast tomorrow, friends. These are all, all these initial sign-up. Some of them were from my INSEAD batchmates. INSEAD batchmates are people who are investing money, going for the CXO role, knew little bit about coaching. It was very easy to sell to them. But why I'm saying this whole thing is, I reached out to my network. I have a friend who was working with a German company working with a German company in Kuwait. He reached out to me saying that I want to sign up because it's you, I trust you. Right? So I'm saying some people who didn't know me from my INSEAD batchmate signed up, some friends signed up, all below the market rate, right? At the PCC level. But that gave me I didn't do pro bono at that stage. I did pro bono much later into my coaching practice when I was good enough to do that. Yeah. So network is your gold mine for you to tap into. Now, last point on network, your siblings, your spouse, your parents, your closest friends, they all are very biased. They have strong opinions about you. No, just skip them. Go into the edge of the network. That's what I learned. The other point from my professor. It's on the edge of a network that maximum business opportunity lies. If it is there is one thing that I really want to take away to build a sustainable business is you tap into the network on the edge of a network. People who know you just this thing, they don't have a bias or judgment about you. Last point, building on this idea, thanks to Raj, is collaborate. We don't collaborate enough. We all are struggling at our own personal level. If you are comfortable, get a partner who can match your energy, complement in energy to makes a better business proposition than struggling it alone. Number two, I can tell you based on my personal experience, it's if corporate leadership is lonely, coachpreneur or an individual coach is more lonely, because you're also hearing to the most tougher times that the clients are going through. You're struggling yourself. You're an entrepreneur. There is no escape to early struggle. It takes time to get into some kind of sustainability. It's very lonely. You need to have friends whom you can just pick up the phone, talk. You know that you're not you're not judged. So if I have any problem today, my son wanted to, after a postgraduate in law, he wanted to join me. My wife said, "Ye baap bete ke beech mein, don't get me in." She just stayed out of it. I went to a common friend. Raj knows him very well in Bangalore. I went to his to Indira Nagar. I said, "I'm here. I want to talk to you." He said, "Come over." I went to his house. I had this conversation. I didn't want to him after postgraduate in law to come and work for a coaching company, especially with me, my only child, because I knew that I won't be judged. You need that support system in the coaching community, because if you cannot be resilient, if you cannot be vulnerable, you cannot be authentic to a fellow coach in the community, then you're not reached that level of mindset that is critical to success as a coach. Right? Then it is Lambi race ki goda. Last point. December my son got married. So one of my colleagues from ICC Bank, had come, one of my best friends, who was reporting to me, by the way. So family friends. So he said, "We were surprised when you got into business, because you're not that guy, you can manage business," because he was reporting to me, "but you're not a typical entrepreneur. But we knew if you sustain for 2-3 years, you'll make success out of it." That's the only mantra. You provide support system for next 2-3 years. Be at it. Keep on fine tuning. Right? It's not a horse race with blinkers. At every point, you have to fine tune. That's why coaching is a reflective journey. Right? CC2. Then trust me, I've seen this space for the last 13 years. This is the best time to be a coach. The money is the best today. Trust me, I'm touching my heart and saying this. If you're not able to make money today, you will miss the bus. Unfair to you. So you have to get your 4 Ps in place. You have to understand what are those underlying beliefs, biases that is stopping me. What are those excuses that you're giving to yourself to play small? Because there's an entrepreneurship journey. You have to play big, right? Like any other big entrepreneur. And the fact that you're touching lives is a collateral benefit. The fact that you are touching your own life is also collateral benefit. So unless you make a successful business out of it now, I don't know, when is a better time. So go for it, work on yourself, work on the business. Success is guaranteed. Trust me on that. Yeah. I'll pause here. Any questions?
Thank you. Thank you, Subash. I know it is, we have passed our scheduled time, 11 minutes. We have still most of them hanging on, not dropping out.
Thank you.
So which tells us how each one of us are hooked to your sharing. Um, while while we all respect each other's time, I would say for people who are there and who wants to drop, feel free, because we have requested for until 8 o'clock. And if you are dropping, then thank you so much for being with us and listening patiently to Subhas. If you still want to connect to Subhas or me, we'll send out an email with the LinkedIn profiles, and some LinkedIn profile will anyway put it in the chat right now. You can reach out to us directly for any support you need, and continue to be here for Q&A. If you have any Q&A questions to or any clarifications, please hang on. Subhas, how much more time you can
No,
stay?
no, I can be here till 8:30.
Okay, so 8:30 is our hard stop. That is the maximum that we can go. And if okay, please be on mute if you are not.
Mukul, please mute your audio. Your
Thank
sound
you,
is.
Mr. Subash. Thank you, Raj. Thank you, everybody. I have to drop off.
Yeah, please. Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you so much.
yeah. Ankur, let's
Ankur, yeah,
continue.
Ankur had raised long back.
Yeah.
Thank you.
His hands would be penning by now.
Thankfully, it's electronic arm.
Yeah.
Mr.
Good.
Subash, thanks a lot for sharing a lot of things. I'm very early in my journey. I just started my ACC journey July this year, so quite early. At this point, my training is also not over. It's only going to get over by end of October. I've already started doing client coaching at this point. I've done 24 hours, of which 23 is client
Excellent.
pro bono though. But one of them has started into a full paid client now, so I'm getting in that way. One thing I would like to learn from you, sir, is how early in your coaching journey were you able to crack B2B? Because I have reached out to a lot of companies and few platforms also. They always say you need to be a minimum ACC to get through to it. And with companies, I understand there is a procurement team that will come in place. They would look at your background that would be there. Um, Anything that you can share with your experience, sir, at this point?
Yeah,
Thank
good
you.
question. Thank you for that. So, yeah, I'm just looking back see, I reached out to my friends. That was my first BD step in the third month of my PCC journey. B2B, I think it started almost 2 years later, incidentally. But my answer to that is my personal thing, right? I mean, nobody guided me on these things those days. 2015, yeah, 2 years later. Now, for me, credential is a minimum for tapping into B2B. So my invitation is get your credentials fast track, and then start reaching out to your corporate contacts by then, saying that I'm on this path, and then I'll need your help. I can say with a lot of this thing that I don't think even all my best friends know what I do exactly. That's a missed opportunity, It's my inability to communicate. So start connecting with friends. So when I moved from banking to coaching, the quicker that people are able to associate me as a coach than my banker is a foundation for B2B. So once you start getting credentials, once you get your credentials, then your basic network should be ready to tap into. And you have to shamelessly reach out to them, saying that, give me some contact in your HR, your friends in HR. Absolutely, the result will be much quicker than you think of. And be patient, as I said earlier, with this thing. But, when I say the market is so good now for coaching, it's also because ICF is more acceptable now, is considered as a minimum requirement, and ICF credentials also. And corporate leaders, HR leaders, do check your credentials on ICF website. Yeah, I mean, they do their own due diligence, but at the same time, they also look at, are you really ICF credential, right? Because otherwise, people on the certification journey can claim that I'm an ICF coach, right? All that, yeah. So, plan the strategy now, hit the market when you're credentialed, to summarize.
Thanks a lot. So I've already started reaching out to mid-size and startups at this point to have that initial discussions. At least I've got the not from a corporate point of view as a walk-in, but at least a few of the co-founders have agreed to start working. So maybe it will slow down. So thanks a lot, sir. It was really inspiration. The talk was
So
really
my
amazing.
2 quick points. You said I'm doing a lot of pro bono. I mean, after today's call, all of you should stop pro bono. You can do reciprocal peer coaching. There is still exchange of energy. Even those reciprocal, convert that into an engagement, sign the agreement, exchange money if you're meeting physically, send money, receive money. There's something that shifts within us when you start collecting money, right? Invoice them initially. Now, your threshold for GST and all is much higher. So absolute TDS and GST. So just get into the habit of running a business right from the word go, even with your reciprocal peer coaching. But pro bono, it should be pure charity when you're good at it, right? When you're credentialed, when you're experienced. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, sir.
Yeah, go ahead, Ramesh.
Okay. I go ahead.
Yeah.
Raj? Yeah. Subash, you said that it will be great to have a niche and a sub niche,
Yes.
or words to that effect, right?
Yes.
And you said your niche is CXO. Within CXO, is it good to have a sub niche?
Yeah, 100%. If you can, somebody from our Bangalore community sent me a profile saying that a lady says, I'm a life coach for CXOs. I said, fabulous niche.
Hmm.
So she doesn't have any big corporate experience. She's more a life coach, but she's saying that I can help you with life coaching to address your life problems, not the corporate problems. Like today's meeting, the session that I had, it was a pure leadership coaching for a corporate CXO. My session today, yeah, right? So simple answer, yes. Second, I help CXOs in their career transitions.
Hmm.
For me, that is a micro niche.
Hmm.
What within the CXO, what micro can you address will make it more worthwhile. What happens generally, I've seen is that is there enough opportunity there? This if life coaching for CXO, I still think it's a fabulous niche. Career transition is a fabulous niche. That example that I gave of one of our own mentees, right? That is too micro, right? But that is still a huge. Women leaders in IT is a huge segment. CXS there also is a pretty big segment. I'm sure many women are hitting the glass ceiling and
Sure.
struggling with it. Good enough.
Hmm.
How many clients you need at any point of time? 10, 15?
Hmm.
If your pricing is premium, you don't need more than 10 clients.
Yeah.
You can play golf rest of the time.
Hmm.
That is
Great.
lifestyle, right? Yeah. It helps,
Great.
Ramesh. If I can go one step further, is I always tell our mentee coaches, those are practicing hours at the early stage of your certification. Typically, ICF 100 hours or 500 hours for PCC gives you clarity also. Who is my ideal customer? What problems I can help them solve. So at that practice level, you don't need to pick and choose your client, right? It could be a Gen Z to a retired person or anyone in between, right? It could be life problem to career problem to relationship problem or money problem. Just play with that. I know
Right.
somebody who's a very accomplished coach in Chennai who should be a leadership coach. She calls herself a wellness coach,
Hmm.
but she works with CXOs.
So let me ask a quick follow-up question. I'm calling myself. I used to earlier say I'm a CXO coach, but now I'm saying I'm a entrepreneurial CXO coach. And the bad part is not too many people are exposed to the word. Entrepreneurial people understand. Intrapreneurial, it requires a bit of explanation. But I'm sensing that that's the opportunity.
For me, it's a fabulous thing. I'm working with another friend in our community. So their friend, it's their client. I am working with them. They're working with a fairly large group, Ramesh, just to bring in intrapreneurial skills.
Wow.
If you get that kind of a company, you don't need anyone else. Now, I'm getting that assignment because that coach is not able to handle a couple of others in Chennai. Plus, of course, the client is not in Chennai. They're spread all over the country. And these
Right.
are not that IT sector and all. These are our old school Indian brands.
Hmm.
So entrepreneurial is good for me.
Right.
Again, as I said earlier, allow it to fine tune.
Hmm.
Right? I mean, this is a journey. So I'm not saying that you should just stick to that for eternity. No, allow that to fine tune. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you. And lastly, today's thing was absolutely brilliant. Thoroughly enjoyed your talk. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Pratishta, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much for the amazing session. First, if it is possible, please share the recording. Second, you mentioned about wellness coaching, so that is something I would like to ask because I work with leaders who are having chronic anxiety, panic disorders, stress, burnout. So I was working with mental wellness issues, and I want to approach corporates. Now, if I go and say to a HR that I would help your leader relieve anxiety, he might not be interested. So, how can I make it work for them with my expertise? Because I am PCC, I have 8 years of experience, but I want to now work with corporates.
So, first question: do you have a company, firm, or are you a no
I
independent?
have a proprietorship registered,
Do you
but
have a website?
yeah, I have a
So,
proprietorship. I think.
the whole thing around a brand is required when you tap into corporate. Because corporates generally don't prefer to work with individuals. See,
Hmm.
at the CXO level, right? I mean, all these freelance trainers are all individuals. That is at the bottom of the pyramid that I mentioned earlier. Talking about the middle and senior level, then they like to work with entities, not individuals, right? So, we uh, like a lot of ICF mentoring leads come to us because I am the core mentor. But corporate, it's the opposite, right? We are tapping to corporate, we are projecting Regal Unlimited as a firm. That is number one. Number two, go back to network. See, it's not easy to break into a corporate. Let me be very clear,
Yes,
right?
sir. I've been trying for long and I don't have that kind of network because I'm not from HR background. I shifted from an IT background, like data analytics specifically, to coaching. So I don't have that big a network.
So, first of all, big network. I have a big network, okay,
Hmm.
because I've worked in different geographies. But you don't need a big network. You need a small handful of people who can give you the first few leads. Now, an important point I missed earlier. I wish I had brought it up earlier. I just remembered. We can't sell coaching. Let us be clear that we can't sell coaching whether B2B or B2C. The best thing is to leave somebody with the experience of coaching. See, I stayed with, it's getting recorded. I stayed with this friend. Uh, it's on the last day, last evening. I mean, tomorrow morning is my flight, early morning. Previous night, after dinner, we are talking. That's where I asked him for support. And he said, we didn't discuss this last 5 days. It was the conversation was just getting ready. So he saw me not as a banker that he's used to. He saw me as a coach over the last 4 days. I could pitch. So the point is, don't sell coaching, don't talk about coaching. Just catch all of them, give a demo. That is the best pitch you can make. You're talking to corporate, you don't tell them. They might ask you what is a coaching model, you can tell them. But remember, the best sales tool for coaching is leaving the client with a coaching experience. You do 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever time available. That is enough. Yeah, that is the second point. Number three is, I think collaboration works far better when you're tapping into corporate. I mean, if you're projecting yourself as a group of coaches or an entity, right, or a consortium of coaches, which we do, right, it helps better. Right. Last point, we also have to be realistic about how many corporates are mindful of the mental illness issues, how many genuinely care in the Indian context. There are brands which care. I'm not saying they are not there. There are many brands, but then are we tapping those who care for the mental wellness of coaches, right? Of leaders. So then are we targeting them enough? That's where your digital marketing and your social media presence, consistent, creating that awareness that you address these issues only will help you. Yeah.
I have been posting regularly on LinkedIn and all, but yeah, I haven't got anything yet. Means from the past 6 months, I'm doing it. So, if I approach the HR, say, and I present them one of the modalities that I use,
Won't work.
won't
It will not
work.
work. So for me, I know, again, I'm saying this, I don't think cold calling will work.
Yeah.
Yeah, either they have to reach out to you through when they search Google and they find you. For
Hmm.
that, you have to be managing your digital presence smartly. Second, through contacts. So if you know a friend in IT sector, their HR cares for, or the CXO cares for mental wellness, that is a target company. So identifying the potential good target, relevant target, is absolutely critical to generate that pipeline. From that only, you should create a pipeline and then start reaching out and make the follow up. Yeah, we can take offline, right? Any follow up on this in the interest of time?
Yeah, so we have
Thank
two
you
more
so
minutes.
much. I think that was the most realistic tip I have got till date, because whenever I'm asking, I haven't got the specific, because it is happening. What you are saying, I've tried and it is happening the exact same way. So thank you
Correct.
so much. If I can connect with you offline,
On
it would be
LinkedIn,
great.
yeah, please do connect. Pratishtha, right? I'll remember your name.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have 1.5 minutes left from the hard stop time. So thank you, Subhas, for saying your personal experience, and the last statement which Pratishtha said, like, it was more realistic.
Thank
It was
you.
more coming from your personal journey, personal experience. Everything was more candid and honest.
Thank you.
I take three things as a host. One, networking is a gold mine. So shamelessly ask for it.
Yes.
Collaboration is key. Just go ahead. You cannot go alone. And value yourself. Value your time. If we don't value ourselves, Mukul, can you please go on mute, Mukul? Yeah, thank you. So value yourself. If we don't value ourselves, then how do you think others will value us? So with that three summary stuff, thank you once again, and thank you each one of you who have stayed here. So while it was requested for 1 hour, you have stayed here, hanged here till another 30 minutes. So it tells us that, okay, you had some real good insights coming out from Subha's sharing. And I also want to thank our half CA, who is not here, who just dropped, or half coach. Basically, I call her half coach, Hema, from his social media creatives, which she said and brought many of you who are not part of the Garner Sub community to this call. So thanks to Hema. And in case any one of you wants to get connected, because collaboration is what the Garners of Foundation is, and we do a lot of things, which whatever many things which Subhash said, I completely it resonated to me what we are trying to do. But I have multiple key actions, Subhash, from this session. So thank you, and with that, I say you goodbye, and have a great evening or great day if you are in a different time zone.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you all.
Thanks
Thank
a lot. Thanks all.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Have a fantastic day, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Raj.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I'm not able to do anything. Somehow my some technical glitch happened. I'm not able to stop. Only once I drop, then only it'll get stopped. So thank you.
Okay.
Bye
Okay. Bye bye.
bye.